Without further delay, I would welcome, on behalf of all of us, Dr. Manoj to take us through the 7 colors meditation, healing meditation experience. Welcome, brother. Thank you.
Thank you, sister. Om Shanti and a good evening to all of you. It's a pleasure to be with you all again. And at the outset, let me thank Anu, sister, for the kind introduction, and Sister Claudia for again giving me this chance. This is the part 2. We are meeting. Part 1 is already done. And I would just, before we start, we would just sit in silence for a minute. I'll take you through a couple of minutes meditation commentary where we'll invoke the Supreme. You can see on the left hand side the Supreme energy is, the photo is around, but it's not a matter about the photo, it's about invoking, getting that feeling. So I'll just share my screen and take you into that journey. So take a minute of silence. Take a few deep breaths in and out. And relax your body. And just tell yourself that I am ready today to begin the healing of my mind and body both. And I can't do it myself alone. Therefore, I need to invoke the Supreme Being, the Supreme Energy, the Cosmic Energy, who indeed is the ocean of all the virtues, who's the Supreme Healer, the healer of all healers. I invoke the presence of the Supreme Being, for the same. So, after this small meditation and invoking the Supreme Energy, let's move on. We'll just take a quick recap of what we saw last time. We saw these 7 chakras. I won't go in the detail, you all have seen. Just to remember that each of them is linked with the 7 colors of the rainbow, the 7 natural colors, which in turn is associated with the 7 virtues of the soul, the primary virtues that all of us possess. And we saw last time that how the soul energy is driving the entire body. Let me at the outset also introduce this concept of energy preservation and energy conservation, by which I mean that all of us are these energies driving the body. We had taken that in detail yesterday. The energy resides somewhere here. If you draw a line horizontally and if you draw a line vertically from there, at the intersection here is the main hypothalamo-pituitary gland, which is called the master gland of the body. And it is mentioned master gland. Why? Because there is an energy over there, and that is basically the soul energy which is driving that, and that in turn is driving the other organs in the body. So just to tell you, all of us are worried about energy at home. We want to preserve the energy. We have many other sources of energy like the solar energy, the wind energy, the hydrostatic energy, and we know the resources are depleting quite fast. On a very faster level, the energy is getting depleted, not only outside but also inside. If you look at my soul energy, if I consider myself as a mobile phone, my battery gets discharged. The moment I wake up, I may feel good, but as I come into interaction with people around, as I am in different situations which are very difficult, tough, unprecedented, for example, the corona, I really start getting more and more depleted. So when I say energy preservation, it means it is basically I have to preserve my energy. Even when I speak to someone, just waste speaking that has no meaning. When I'm just speaking without even thinking what I'm speaking, and I'm just being very casual about things, that is basically draining my energy. So I have to preserve my energy. So that's preservation. Preserve. It's a nice English word. Pre-serve. Service, service, to serve someone, and pre is something before. So when I am ready to serve someone with my thoughts, with my vibrations, with my words, I need to prepare for that. So that's called pre-serve, and that's the thing, it's preservation. So unless my state of mind, my thoughts and feelings are not stable, I can't serve anyone. So that's called energy preservation. And second is energy conservation. So again, that word comes from conserve. Again, serve means to serve, and con is something, there's something called pros and cons of everything. So cons is the negative aspect, the wastage aspect. So again, I need to make sure that I need to conserve my energy constantly, even when I'm doing even a small activity. For example, you would find this activity a very routine thing, but that is actually wasting energy. Like if you're sitting on your mobile phone and if you're just watching some news, or you're on your WhatsApp chat, and that WhatsApp chat really is of not of big meaning. It is just something very casual. But it is just depleting my energy. If I'm looking at any video, if I'm downloading any audio which really is of no meaning for me, and I know that is because anything which I see from the sense organs, the primary sense organs are the eyes, the nose, the ears. So if I'm seeing anything, if I'm listening anything from the outside world, it is really creating an impact on me, and that impact is depleting my energy. I need to conserve that. So these are the two aspects of energy preservation and energy conservation. I thought it imperative to introduce this concept because what we are doing in this seven colors healing meditation is we are trying to uh, empower that energy which we are, the soul energy. But it's of no meaning if the entire day after sitting and after doing some meditation, I feel empowered, but again, the entire day I'm not very cautious, I'm not very attentive about my energy being drained out. So it's like you open the tap of the water, the bucket is filling, but the bucket has a hole in it. So the water will just keep flowing from there. So even if you fill yourself, you need to make sure that there are no leakages or no holes or no discharges in your energy flow. So we just need to take care of that. So with this brief outlay, let's move on to, as I was doing the recap, these are the energy circuits in the body, and these circuits go through these complex wiring which is called of the body. It's the entire nervous system. So at some point we also call this as neurobics. You have heard of the word called aerobics. Aerobics is when you take air, when you take oxygen by exercise. So we call aerobic mechanism. We have also heard of something called anaerobic, whereby it is muscle training, not much of oxygen going in, but you're just doing some muscle work, some muscle training exercises. So these all exercises are on the level of a mind, so they are mental exercises, and you need an intact nervous system, and therefore it's also called neurobics. So last time I introduced to you those five elements which we said. As you can see, the elements are mentioned here. Each element corresponds to one particular finger. So all of you know we have 5 fingers. There are some special children who are born with 6 fingers, an accessory finger, but that is basically what you say, a developmental malformation. But all of us, majority, have 5 fingers. So each finger corresponds to a particular element. So let me just quickly tell you how will you remember that which finger is which element. It is very simple. I'll just try to correlate it for you so that it remains, you don't have to by heart it or memorize it then. It will just be logical. So if you look at
Yes,
your,
so,
so coming to those elements, the first element, as I was mentioning, if you look at your fingers, the middle finger is the one which is the tallest, and the middle finger is pointing to the sky. So that's the sky element, or what we also call the space element. So as you can see, it's mentioned over here, the middle finger. Then we have something called index finger. Index means prime. We call, there's a disease, it's an index case. Index means the first case or the primary case. So out of the five elements, which is the first important element which we need? I'm sure you can guess. When a child is born, what is the first thing the child does? Or rather, as a doctor, as a pediatrician, my job is to make sure that the child cries and takes the first breath inside. Because if the child doesn't take the first breath, he will be crippled, because those first 3 minutes of oxygenation are important for the brain to function and the oxygen to go to the entire body. So the first cry of the child, which is responsible for the first breath, is important. So when I say breath, it's the air element, the oxygen coming in. So if you can remember, the index finger, the primary thing in life is air. If we don't have air, we can live without food for a while, we can live without water for a while, but we can't live without oxygen, which is the air element. So that's index finger, air, and the middle finger. So I'm sure these two are clear now, and it's easy to remember. Third thing, we have the ring finger. Why is it called the ring finger? Because we wear rings in those fingers, as simple as that. But usually, why in that finger? Because rings are made up of what metal? They are either made up of gold, silver, all these metals which come, and all these metals come from the mines. They come from the earth element. So therefore, the ring finger is the earth element. We have gold mines, silver mines, and all this is coming from the earth. So this is the earth element. And now you have the remaining two, the little finger and the thumb finger. So how do we correlate which element is this now? So if you look at the little finger, the little is the most tiny. Obviously, that's the reason it's called little. And how do we remember its water element? Look at a little child, or look at children who are young, who are smaller than adults, obviously. So they are more flexible, they are more malleable. And what is the element which is very malleable and flexible? It's the water element. So easy to remember, the little finger is the water element. And just funnily, to make you a bit, I want to add a bit of humor to this. In India, I don't know about how you all have it, but in India, when children want to go for a pee, they say this thing. So it's easy to remember that that's the little finger, the little child, and water element. So the thumb is the important finger and all, because if you don't have the thumb, you see quite a few factory workers, because of some accident, they lose their thumbs. And then it's very difficult, because thumb is, even to simple pick a pen, thumb is needed. But therefore, it's the most important and actually the very strongest of all the fingers. And therefore, it is related to the fire element, because fire is thought to be the stronger in all, because fire is really such an element which can engulf anything. So here we go, just a quick recap. Your middle finger is pointing to the top, so it's the the sky element, or the ether element, or the space element. The index finger is the air element. The ring finger is the earth element. Recap for you all in this form. And little finger is the water element. And lastly, thumb is the fire element. Why I'm spending time on this? Because when we do the mudras, mudra is basically a posture whereby your fingers are approximating revamped, revitalized. If there is a blockage, the energy starts reflowing in that area. So that is called the mudra, which will be the prime part of the talk today will be about mudras and how to balance the chakras or open the chakras. So let's quickly, I'm sorry, I'm going very fast, but never mind. I'm just coming to the main mudras, which is the prime talk today. This is just, you'll be getting these slides, so you don't have to worry and take down any notes. You just have to understand and correlate, so that when you do the mudra, you can just correlate and you'll get the feel. Okay, good. So, this is technology. Now see, check your thoughts. Check, were you feeling disturbed? Oh my God, I'm listening to this and the internet went off. It's a disturbance of the energy. What am I doing? Energy preservation, conservation, or draining? You need to check that. Anyway, I'm not trying to be a guru or a teacher here, but I'm just saying we need to check ourselves what is happening to the energy inside. Because if I'm feeling disturbed by anything, I'm not in the receptive mode. So don't feel disturbed. Just accept whatever it is, whatever technology problem is there, accept it. If not today, sometime else it could be covered. So we'll just hope for the best. So don't worry. So, as I was telling, Gyan is knowledge, and knowledge, as I told you, is about the chakra here, the Agya chakra, and it relates to all your central nervous system, as we were speaking about. So, it helps in improving your memory and concentration, relieves your stress, anxiety, fear. I think all of us experienced, we opened this chakra, or people say balancing the chakra last time. And as I was telling you, if you're having sleep problems, when you do this uh, meditation with the Gyan Mudra on, it helps you. And this is the universal mudra actually. If you look at the Indian sages, mentioned in the text, the scriptures, when they used to sit in meditation, or we call those people as yogis or hatha yogis. They used to also do a lot of asanas of the body. They used to sit in this basic mudra. Next is what we call pran mudra. So as I was telling you, if you can just recollect, we will be speaking about Hindi or Sanskrit words, because pran comes from two words. Pra stands for Prithvi and Na stands for Neer. If you can just write this down, it will be easy. Pra means Prithvi. Prithvi means, as I told you, the third finger, which is the earth element. In Hindi, earth is called Prithvi. Okay, pra. And na is neer. Neer is again a Sanskrit word for water. In South India, they say neer. So it's water. So water element and earth element. So earth and water. When you do these together, it's called pran mudra. Okay, and it is used for all these things: endocrine system, nervous system, eye problems, migraine problems. So all these problems. So basically, these two chakras, the crown chakra and the brow chakra, which last time with the humming sound and the O sound, we tried to open it. And basically, when you do these first two opening, you have to sit in those two mudras. Okay. Now we move on to the next five chakras. Uh, Pardon me, I can't go back and show you all those, but if you remember, we started with the elements of ENT. We started with ENT. ENT is connected to the, very simple, it's connected to the space element, ear, nose, and throat. The body is connected to the outside space to breathe. So all these problems, this is the mudra. And Akash. Akash means the sky element. So when you touch, that's the sky element. I told you the third element, sorry, not the third, the middle finger. It is also called sky element or space element. So when you touch this here, it is called Akash Mudra. And if you would have just observed all these mudras, as I told you, all the fingers are approximating with the thumb. And I told you thumb is the fire element. Because you know, all of us as bodies, we are energy. And when we say energy, there is basically a constant energy in the body which maintains your temperature. We are all what we call warm-blooded animals. We are not cold-blooded animals. So what is that thing which makes us warm? It is the fire element inside the body. Now, don't think there is some fire burning inside. It is not the fire as such. There is no such fire, but it's the element which is the warmth, which creates warmth. And therefore, your body temperature is 37 degrees centigrade, we say, or around 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Just move on to Vayu Mudra, which is the air element. So it is for all problems related to the, sure you know by now where is the air element. So it's the lungs and the heart, and that is what we call the Anhat chakra or the heart chakra. And when you do this, there is something called Apan Vayu Mudra. So you understood, I'm sure I'm not able to show you that, but Vayu, when I say Vayu is the air element. So if you can just look at the cursor where I'm placing it now, this is the air element, whereby you're putting it at the root of the thumb. So that is called Vayu Mudra. If you go in the previous slide, there you were just pressing it from above. But when you do this Apan Vayu Mudra for the heart healing, this is half part called Vayu, whereby the air element, this index finger is just at the root of the thumb, and these two middle fingers, the middle finger is called Akash. So it's A stands for there. A stands for Akash and Pa stands for Prithvi. So A and Pa, easy to remember. So when both these, the middle finger and the third finger, when they approximate this here, it's called Apan, and this is the Vayu. So it's called Apan Vayu Mudra. It may be a bit challenging because you're listening to it for the first time, but you can revise it from the slides when you get to it. And it is about for heart and lung problems, asthma, high blood pressure, and even people who have low blood pressure. As we say that when there's energy disturbance, what happens is your flow is interrupted and you can suffer from problems. So if you want to normalize or balance either high or low blood pressure, either of them is fine. So it will just balance out everything. And when I say 1:2 1:1, I will just want to explain what is this. We call it loveful because, as I said, this is the value or the virtue of that chakra. Heart is full of love. And this ratio, what I said, when you divide your breathing, when you inspire, that's the first. So for example, if you inspire and if you take a deep breath, say around 2 seconds you inspire, so the expiration is the second phase, which has to be double of the first. So if you're taking a deep breath in 2 seconds, you have to expire in 4 seconds, remember. Okay, so deep breath in, and actually I'm sorry, deep breath in, then you have to hold it for double time. So I'll just revise. I'm sorry, I'm in this connection I'm also getting disconnected. So when you inspire, for example, 2 seconds, then you have to hold the breath. Sorry, the second aspect here is hold the breath for 4 seconds. So if you're inspiring in 2 seconds, you hold the breath for 4 seconds. Then the third one, this one is the expiration. So expiration is same 2 seconds. And then last one is whereby you're still, you're not breathing very heavily, neither expiring heavily. So remember, mind well that if you can hold your, some people, they know they do a deep inspiration and they go on for 3-4 seconds. Don't try to do that, because what is important is the holding breath should be double the time of inspiration. So if you are inspiring in 4 seconds, then you have to hold the breath for 8 seconds. So it's very difficult to hold the breath for 8 seconds. So don't be over enthusiastic and over vigilant. Normally you take a deep breath, which normally takes around 2.5 seconds. Then hold it for around 4.5, 5 seconds. Then expire in another 2.5 seconds, and be absolutely still, not inspiring or expiring for another 2 seconds. So remember, you don't have to keep counting inside, because if you keep counting again, you are in your thinking mode, your cognitive mode. We don't want to be in the cognitive mode all the time. Let me just clarify these two things if you're not able to understand these two words. These two words are used in psychiatry: cognition or cognitive, and affective or affect. So cognition is something thinking. Now as I'm speaking to you, I'm thinking as well. It's something logical which I'm doing with my brain. So I'm in a cognitive mode. But affective mode is something in the feeling mode. So all the 7 color meditation, whatever you felt good last time, was why? Because you were in the feeling mode. So when I'm taking you in a lecturing mode, I'm showing you slides, you're looking at the slides, your brain is constantly working, you are in a cognition mode. But now when you go in the meditation and when you open the chakra, you have to be in the feeling mode, so that you feel the energy. Feel that the energy of the Supreme is coming to you, and you're able to de-stress yourself, you're able to heal yourself, open that chakra, remove the blocks from that chakra. Okay, so this was about the heart chakra. Now we move on to the next one, which is, go down in sequence, it is the solar plexus, the fire element. And as I said, it is related to your fire. So this is the one. And this mudra is very simple. It is called Prithvi Mudra. Prithvi, now you know the Prithvi is the third element. It's the thing for earth. So earth element with the fire element. This is called Prithvi Mudra. So this is for all your GI, that is gastrointestinal problems, digestive, hyperacidity, constipation, anorexia. Some people are overweight, they want to gain weight. Some are sorry, they want to lose weight, and some who are underweight, they want to gain weight. So let me just tell you, if you are diabetic and if you are overweight, then we do what is called the next mudra, Agni Mudra. Let me just explain you how Agni Mudra is. Agni, I'm sure you know, it's again a Sanskrit word for fire. So when you are pressing the thumb on this earth element, it is called Agni Mudra. So it is for stimulating the fire element, because probably the fire element is not working. So you are trying to compress that and trying to open it. So it is for people who have high weight and high sugar, so diabetes. So remember, how will you remember that you have to press this? So remember a fat person or a fat kid. You know, when they touch them or when you try to tickle them, they start laughing and they feel very giddy, sort of very humorous. So remember, try to think that how will you remember that a fat, because if you look at this mudra, this is for people who want to gain weight. So this mudra is whereby you are touching the fire element with the thumb, only touching. That's called Prithvi Mudra. This is to gain weight. And for those who have diabetes and obesity, it is to be pressed. The earth element has to be pressed by the fire element, so it releases the fire element. And how do we do this? It's very simple. What you do is all these mudras, when you sit in that particular mudra, you have to visualize the color. So at the moment, I'm not looking at the color, but these three things are to be done together. You sit in mudra, visualize the color, and breathing. So as I told you, the breathing in the heart chakra was 1:2 is to 1:1. Here the breathing is, you have to take a deep breath in and then exhale out very forcefully. I'll just start my video so that I can show you this. Maybe I should stop sharing for a minute so that I can show you this. Yeah. So I'm visible now. Yes. So you sit in the mudra, you can't see because there's a limitation of technology. That's the limitation. You can't see people in live. So my hands are in that mudra down on the hips, or if you are sort of sitting on a chair on the hips, on the knees, and if you are sitting cross-legged, then it will be at the bend of the knee. So what we do is we take a deep breath. This is the way you have to come out, whereby I didn't cough actually, but since I exhaled very forcefully, you felt that I am coughing. That's the way, you know, Ramdev Baba, the one who's the head of the Patanjali Institute in India, those Hatha Yogi, they also teach you Kapalbhati and Anulom Vilom. These are those two basic yogas of India. So where they do is they compress the abdominal muscles tightly and then ask you to expire or exhale forcefully, so that your abdominal muscles, which have become weak over a period of time, they get stimulated, and once you do that, your obesity starts decreasing. It's basically the abdominal muscles have become lax because you have stored so much of fat here and you're not taking care of the abs. So it's basically a stimulation for the abdominal muscles. So I'll just revise it. Take a deep breath and forcefully exhale. And I'm sure you'll feel like laughing when you see this, when you do this also. Which signifies that why are you laughing? Because it is which value of the chakra? It is the joy value. So when your digestive system is actually not working well, you're basically not very good inside. You're not joyful, you're not happy, and that's the reason your digestive system has gone for a ride. So basically you have to open that, you have to stimulate the fire element by doing this, and you have to keep doing this for at least 5 minutes. I'll just stop the video, and unless again there may be some connectivity issues, and let me go on to the sharing screen again. So I hope this is clear. uh, Agni Mudra, and Prithvi Mudra. So I'll revise. Prithvi Mudra, you just touch the fire element with the earth element. This is for the problems mentioned and basically underweight, who wants to gain weight. And for people who are overweight, obese, and diabetes, you want to get rid of the extra weight. So you have to compress the thumb onto the earth element, that is the ring finger. It's too much of a work, right, for the mind. Don't worry, last one or two left. Coming to the chakra beneath, that is the chakra for the reproductive organs. I hope you know that chakra. So it is called Swadhisthana chakra. It is for the water element. So all the things related to the water. So as you can see, it's kidney problems, reproductive problems, skin has sweat. So it's the sweat problems and even blood problems. So water element, you know, is the little finger. As I told you, if you remembered, now you're memorized by now. So that you just touch your thumb with the fire element. That is called Varun. Now Varun again, you know, you'll be feeling, oh my God, Hindi and Sanskrit, there are so many words for the same element. So the water element is also called Varun because in some parts of India, there is something called Varun Devta. They say it's uh, the Devta or deity of water. So Varun also is another word for water. So it's also called Varun Mudra. So just have to memorize. It's a new word for you all, I can understand, but it's just called Varun Mudra. So I think this is it, but let me just take you to this slide whereby I'll just tell you, I'll go on this first slide so that we'll just revise all this. So, you know, this is the peace element. As I told you, the mudra which was there was Akash Mudra. You can see that later. So, what is the breathing practice when you do for peace? You just sit in silence and do peaceful breathing. Don't inhale or exhale forcefully. So, it is just peaceful breathing. Heart, as I told you, it is the loveful chakra related to your air element. We did Apan Vayu Mudra, as I showed you. You can refer to that later. And we do 1 is to 2 is to 1 is to 1. So first you inhale, for example, in 2 seconds, hold the breath for around 4 seconds, double time. Then exhale in 2 seconds and then remain, say around next 2 seconds, remain still. Anu sister, can you still feel the disturbance of the breathing or it's okay?
Yeah, slightly it's there, but it's okay.
Yeah, okay.
Means, yeah, it's
I just put it back now. I think now it should be fine.
sure. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, and the third one after this, when we did, why I'm saying five, because when we look at these five, the elements, one, two, three, four, five. So this is the third we covered. The fourth I told you, uh, you again sit in that Varun Mudra. This is a water element, and you have to visualize orange colored rays coming inside, and you again breathe peacefully. And the last element, which is a bit challenging to show you all, we have 15 minutes left now. This is for the element of earth element. It is related to the spiritual power, or we also call spiritual power for the mind and physical power for the body, because it is related to your bones, muscles, and joints, which we call the musculoskeletal system of the body. So this will be for people who experience weakness, particularly uh, it's for females, because after menopause, after around 45, 50, when your hormones, the female hormones have come down, estrogen, that's the female predominant hormone, when that goes down and you have menopause, what happens is the bones really become osteoporotic. Osteoporosis means your bones become smooth and soft. So you feel more weak compared to men of 50. So if you look at a woman of 50 years, she would feel much more weak in the body. The muscles, joints have given up compared to a man. That's because of the hormones. So whenever you have osteoporosis, joint problems, muscle problems, bone problems, it shows that the earth element is weak. So again, on the video, how do we do this is, I'll just show you. What you is, you can either sit or you can, I'll just stop sharing so you can see me. So what you do is, uh, you just hold your upper limb like that. You call it parallel to the ground, and this is 90-degree, and you make a tight fist. And if you're standing in what is called the Hanuman posture, I have to explain you that if you see, if Anu's sister can just circulate there and later a figure of Hanuman, it shows Hanuman is a person. It's again a deity of strength, deity of power in India. It is famous for that. It's shown that he's got a lot of biceps and he's a very what you call a rough and tough guy. It is shown like that. He's very physically fit and he's beefed up, which means all muscles ripped. You can see all abs also can be seen. So you have to basically contract all these muscles and take a deep breath in, contract, make a tight fist, and also try to push the earth down because you have to do that in the Hanuman pose. You have to stand up and do it. I can't do that right now. Everything will get disconnected if I stand up now. So you have to do this, make a tight fist, hold it like that, take a deep breath, and just when you're tightening your muscles, when you're taking an inspiration, you have to tighten it so much that you really feel the vibration of the muscle. You will feel that your muscle is undergoing tremor, and visualize red color rays of spiritual power entering the entire body, and then exhale out deeply like that. Open your fist and exhale out deeply. So you have to keep doing this. As I said, it's a bit challenging to show you. I'm sure you have heard something about it. You all can practice it with each other later. Okay. Just a word of caution is don't be so occupied with your physical diseases. I'll just try to clarify myself here that every disease actually is starting here in the mind. So if your mind is powerful, if you're able to take care of your thoughts, if you're doing positive thinking, if you're able to take care of your emotions and feelings, if your affective component, that is, as I told you in psychiatry, the word is used affective, whereby you're not getting affected by people. Someone just said today to me something, oh, this was not good you did. You don't know how to do that. Probably you're not good at that. So I start feeling very low. So when we start coming into what we are taught at Brahma Kumari is here that we develop this feeling of flu. You know what is flu? You know the COVID flu. Flu is basically upper respiratory tract infection, but here in the spiritual language we call it feeling of flu. When you again and again just get depressed, people just say something to you and you start feeling very low. You feel, oh, I'm not very good for this. This is a feeling of flu. So when you're not able to take care of your thoughts and you're not able to take care of your feelings and emotions, that's the primary dis-ease which has started. And that depletes your soul power, depletes your soul energy, because a person who is depressed is really exhausted energy wise as well, because his internal state of mind is absolutely depleted. So if you are able to take care of these two chakras, which I told you last time also, these two chakras are of prime importance, which we'll be again doing that today in the next 10 minutes. If you're able to do that, these things become very secondary. And after doing each of these exercises, which I told you of all these remaining five elements, five chakras, you have to drink a bit of water so that whatever waste products have been accumulated in the body, they are just flushed out through your urine. So the waste is gone out of the body in the form of urine. And you have to do each and every exercise which you do for each element. You have to do at least for around 5 to 10, at least 10 minutes, I must say. And you can only see a difference when you do it for at least diligently for 21 days. That's what we call 3 weeks. If you want to change any habit which you have to do that persistently daily for at least 21 days. That's the golden figure, what we call 21 days. It's an auspicious figure in India, and it has a lot of spiritual significance. 21 figure has a very spiritual significance because it is related to developing any good habit, for which you need to do it 21 times, by which I mean at least 21 days. So you have to do it diligently for 3 weeks. And please, very, very important, make sure whatever disease you have, whether diabetes, obesity, heart, endocrine, whatever, and you are on some medications, this is a disclaimer which I must say that please don't stop your medicine, because that's what people do. They say, oh, I'm ready to do healing. Now God is there, the supreme energy is there, and I can do my healing. Let me just stop all my tablets. So mind well, you can't do that because you may land up in the
intensive care next day if your sugars are going up and down, if your BP is going up and down. So please make sure you don't do that. You continue your medications, and as a allopathic doctor, I'm telling you, continue your medications. After 21 days, if you go for a follow-up check with your doctor, with your medical practitioner, he or she will tell you, oh, on your lab evaluation, the sugars are slightly better. So he or she will come down on the dose of the medicine. The BP medicine also will go down because your BP will start getting normalized. So please make sure you're not a medical practitioner. So don't mess around. Don't change your medications because it may be disastrous for you. And because if you stop the medication, if your BP really goes high, you'll start having headache and forget all this. Then you won't be able to concentrate. You won't be able to do also this. So make sure continue with your same medications, right? So are we ready now to open these two chakras? I'll just revise. I'll just show you this one more slide, which is important. Yeah, this one. So this is about the sounds. As I told you, the O and the M. This is slightly shown differently here. It is, you can also just say ah in the crown chakra, but you can continue with the O here and the M here, which I told you. And all these remaining ones, the slides will be shared with you. You'll be seeing that it is just a modification of Om. So it's hum, yum, ram, vam, and lam. So it's all ending with a and ma, but the starting is different. Ha, ya, ra, va, and la. What I said basically was Hindi words, but you can see the pronunciation. What I did was in Hindi, but it's basically alphabetically correlates with H, Y, R, V, and L. So when you are sitting in that mudra, as you can see, this lady also is sitting in the basic Gyan mudra. So when you sit in mudra, visualize that particular color and you have to chant this sound. Not Om all the time, but hum, yum, ram, vam, and lam. So I think today, because of paucity of time, we just have 5 minutes. So we'll just do, I think, a little bit of closing meditation.
So, all of us, let's sit straight, spine straight. A deep breath in, deep breath out. Relax your body. Simultaneously, relax your mind. Relax, relax. Focus your attention on the energy who you are. Maybe, if comfortable, visualize a tiny point of light in the center of the forehead. And create this beautiful thought: I am a peaceful being. I am a blissful being. Just two thoughts: peace and bliss. And the moment you say these two words, you start feeling the flavor of these two words: peace and bliss. And simultaneously get connected to the Supreme. Visualize Him as the ocean of all virtues, ocean of peace, ocean of bliss. I receive the powerful rays of peace and bliss and enhance this feeling. Say to yourself, I am so fortunate and lucky to have realized my true identity, the energy which I am, and indeed thankful to the Supreme for giving me a chance to connect to Him. I am peace, I am bliss. So, with these two beautiful thoughts, come back into the awareness of this room. Om Shanti.
Where do I go with all these feelings and all these faces and open doors when everyone else seems so serene and I just feel so insecure? And where do I go when all the pieces of my heart lay on the floor? You say, come into the light, why don't you? Come into the light, why don't you? Come on now, come into the light. Where do I go with all these memories and all these bags filled up with shame? And how should I feel when you call me an angel and dress me in a crown of gold? And what should I do when tears of sorrow just won't stay inside these eyes? You say, come into the light, why don't you? Come into the light, why don't you? Come on now, come into the light. What should I do when a gentle-headed reaches out to take my hold? And how should I feel when tears of joy, they just won't stay inside these eyes? And what will I do when I start to love you and really trust and know you're there? You say, you'll be in the light where I am. You'll be in the light where I am. Come on now, come into the light. You'll be in the light where I am. You'll be in the light where I am. Come on now, come into the light.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Dr. Manoj,